Hello, YouTube. The channel is called It Was Never You, and what do I do on here? I talk about narcissistic abuse and recovery from it. So you can go to support me on Patreon, which is patreon.com/ It Was Never You, and that's also in the link. The link is in the description. So this video I want to talk about uh, the stages of narcissistic abuse. So the first stage is the idealization stage, which is also called the love bombing stage. So the first stage is where the toxic person finds you, and then what they will do is they will inject themselves into your life in a very quick manner. And one of the common things that they say is that that they have found their, can it be me if I'm asking if it's him or her? Usually if you're asking if it's you, it's more than likely not you, because a toxic person doesn't ask if it's them. So I hope that answers your question. So the first stage is they will get to know you, they will get to know your weaknesses, they will sit and they will listen intently, and they will tell you that they have found their soulmate, that you're their soulmate, and it moves really, really rapidly. Usually that's more often than not the case, and this creates a type of euphoria in your mind. It releases all these endorphins, these chemicals, and you just feel so great, and you feel like you're on cloud nine, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff is going on. And then the second stage is the devaluation stage, where little by little you start to get criticized. Little by little could be passive aggressive, could be overt criticism, but they will start to pick and chip away at you little by little, because what this is about your identity, and this is about altering your identity to gain power and control over you. So they will chip away at you little by little. And one of the common things that people say is they say, I don't know who I am anymore after this. Well, that was its purpose. The purpose is to rob you of who you actually are. So they chip away little by little. That is the second stage, the devaluation stage, where they try to break you down. Remember, like I said, this is about power and control. But I'm very intense and very love bombing and insecure. Could I be a narcissist if I was also toxic? How do I go back to that comment? I'm very intense and very love bombing and insecure. Could I be the narcissist? I'll tell you, if you're asking if you're the narcissist, more than likely that you are not, because narcissists don't ask, am I the narcissist? I hope that answers the question, and truly, I hope it gives you solace, because they don't ask that question. The second stage is the devaluation stage. They chip away little by little. And then what ends up happening is cognitive dissonance will kick in, because you cannot figure out if they are the first person, the first stage, or are they the person in the second stage. So what you will avert to, yes, you will avert to, it must be me. So narcissism is where everybody in a family, everybody around them goes to therapy and gets help, but they're actually not the ones that have this disorder. So everybody goes and gets help. So what ends up happening is the first stage puts you like this. Then they start knocking you down little by little. You, in the middle, you're saying, but they were like this in the beginning, so now they're like this. It must be me. It's to get you to believe that you are so broken that you need this person for everything in your life. It's to gain power and control over you. It's just a whole ball of manipulation. Well, I'm glad. I'm really glad that they help. I do recommend to people, if you have been through this, to go to, if you're in the United States, to go to the APA, American Psychological Association, and look for a psychologist that is has a background in trauma and PTSD, they would, what ends up happening is, what you need to do is you need to change your thought process, because they rewire your brain. um, I'll get back to the third stage, but what ends up happening is, especially more often than not, this is something that you probably have been through from childhood. Yes, they manipulate on purpose. Something that you've been through in childhood. So you're kind of, what's the word, grooming, you're primed, you're groomed for these people to be in your life as an adult, because it's repeating the same patterns over and over again. Sometimes what the brain does is, you will repeat the same things over and over again in an effort for you to realize what you've gone through, so that you can heal from it, so you can move away. Growth is possible, healing is possible, but just as this took many years for it to take effect, it will take time for it to go away. So sometimes progress feels like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Just hold on, just keep going. The third stage is the discard stage. So they will either discard you, just completely remove themselves from your life, ghost you, or whatever the terminology is for that, or they will push you to a position where you leave them, but they will make it as if they are the victim in this situation. It's all about them. They must create this mindset in people that you are the bad guy. And PSA, don't ever tell them this is your narcissist. Please go look at this website, because it will help you, because this won't go well. So just play it close to the chest and just keep it to yourself and work on your own boundaries. Hey, Andrew. Hey, how do I go back and look at the comment? I don't know how to go. Oh, can you act the same way when you are with a narcissist because you think it's okay to do so if they do it? Because you think, can you act the same way when you are with a narcissist because you think it's okay to do so? Can you give me an example of that? Not really getting the question. Maybe if you can word it, like give me a specific example. The discard is the last stage of it. So, and then what ends up happening, how do they choose their partners? How do they choose their partners? Okay. A narcissist is a predator. I like to give the example of a cat. Cats have those pads on their bottom of their feet. Why are those there? Those are there so they can stalk their prey silently. So a lot of people like to say that I attract. You're a predator magnet. I'm a magnet for this dysfunction. I'm a magnet. I don't adhere to that line of thinking 100%. They are predators that see something in people that they want to take. They see the empathy, they see the kindness, they see the wounds, they see the vulnerability. Like I said before, it's usually generational. So if you've been through this as a child, you're going to go through these types of relationships as an adult. If they give you restrictions or tell you what you can do and don't, you are like, okay, this will be a relationship, so I can be like this as well. Tell them what they can and can't. Okay, I think I'm understanding what you're saying. So if you have grown up in toxicity, one thing that you may be lacking, and something that you were never allowed to have in a proper way, in the formative years, children learn boundaries. So you learn to say no. One of the first words that children learn is they learn to say no. So there are certain things that, non-negotiable things, that if people try to force you or make you do, you will say no to, and you will adhere to those boundaries, and they are non-negotiable, and you will just tell this person, you need to get away from me. But if you've grown up in toxicity, what's ended up happening is your boundaries are not fully formed, and you were told. So, okay, if you've grown up in toxicity, you were told who you are. Your identity has been told to you. You were not allowed to be the person that you were meant to be. So can you do that in a relationship with a toxic person? Yes. But healing from this is a lot of self-reflection. If you've grown up in this way, more than likely you have learned bad behaviors from the toxic parent that you have grown up with, okay? That does not mean that you are a narcissist. If you are with somebody day in, day out as a child, you will watch them. Your parents are, you look up to your parents and you learn behaviors. If it is learned behavior and you recognize that this is a behavior in yourself that you don't like and you're able to self-reflect, then you're able to correct that. The narcissist doesn't have the ability to look in the mirror and to actually see that something that they're doing is wrong. And again, this is a spectrum disorder, so somebody can fall on the very low end of it and might possibly be able to get help, or somebody may fall on the having the fully blown diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. These are completely different things. But if you've grown up in this way, they're called fleas. So they attach to you, and they're behaviors that you've learned. You may have learned to be manipulative. You may have learned to hide who you are as a person, to behave in passive-aggressive ways. Is there any, I'll answer that. Can you just put that up in a minute? Again, you may have learned these behaviors, but if you're able to look at yourself and be like, man, when I got mad, instead of communicating what I was mad about, I just started slamming the cabinet doors. I don't think that's a proper way of dealing with situations. This is something I need to correct in myself. That's the ability to self-reflect, and you will do that, and you will move forward in life. The narcissist, depending on where they are on the spectrum, they don't have they may give in and be like, okay, you're right, I was wrong. And then what ends up happening, you got to look back at the relationship, look back at the history. Have they changed behaviors and stopped doing it and made a repentance is turning away from it. So I'm going to turn away and I'm not going to do that thing anymore. I'm going to try my best. It doesn't mean you're not going to maybe fall back into that, but you'll recognize it. You'll recognize the behavior and you're like, okay, I'm doing it again. I'm going to stop. But they don't have narcissist doesn't have the ability to see what they're doing is hurting other people. Their empathy, the empathy that they have can be at a very low level or to none at all. I had a girlfriend and she was so mad at me for one bad habit, which is childish and not hurtful for anyone. She broke up with me in that moment and I was so suicidal that she came back. Told me that she loves me. See, no one, okay, Linda, nobody could tell you, I'll tell you, nobody could tell you if you are one or not. That is something that clinician will diagnose, and I won't touch that. What I will tell you is if you're asking if you are and you're recognizing your behaviors, like more than likely you are not, because they don't ask. They're not going to sit there and they're not going to say, am I a narcissist? Maybe it's me. It's become who they are as a person. It's a self-control thing. The power is in you, not the other person. It's a mindset, and that's why the narcissist preys on the vulnerable. They want the mind so they can have control. Yes, control. It's about power and control. Everything comes. Right. They can't see it from, what is empathy? Empathy is me having the ability, like when I'm reading Linda's comments, I'm seeing that there's pain, there's questioning there. That's empathy. Putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and understanding things from their point of view. If you're asking that question about yourself, you're not. This is not how it works. You're not, more than likely you're not a narcissist, because they just don't ask these questions. It's a mask that they wear. Their reality is different from your reality. It's a very selfish one, but it gives the image that it comes from this grandiose sense of, and their character traits do show that the overt ones have a grandiose sense of self, but I do believe comes from a place of self-hatred. Thank you so much for making me calm. I'm freaking out. Yeah, they just don't, they don't ask. They're not gonna sit there. If somebody calls them, if you show a true person who I said, don't do this, if you show a person, a narcissist, a website, say for example, Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers, or you show them a book that talks about narcissism, what they're going to do is they're going to look at it, and then what they're going to do is they're going to turn it on you, and they're going to tell you that you're the narcissist. They project what they are onto other people. So if you're questioning it, it's not. So those are the stages: the love bombing, the idealization stage, where they put you up here, then they slowly knock you down little by little to alter your identity, to make you so weak, so vulnerable, so under their control that you go to them for everything, and they just become this ruler of your world. And you can even get to the point where you think that if I don't do what they ask, some calamity is going to come at me, because they have this idea that you will align with the idea that they believe that they are a god, and that you have to follow what they do, or bad things will happen to you because they know everything. So you get to that stage where you're just fully controlled by this person, and your identity has been so altered. I tried to help the narcissist, and they turned it on me and told everyone I was an abuser. Yes, it's a very common thing that happens. So thank you for putting that up there. That's why I like to tell people, don't tell them. You think genuinely in yourself, you think I'm helping this person. But if it's not like anxiety or depression where there are symptoms of this disorder, and you can rewire this person's brain. Their reality is altered. They exist in a different reality. They see things completely different than you do. And you trying to understand their brain through your rational brain, you can learn the smear campaign. Yes, that's another great topic that I will talk about. Just my opinion on the smear campaign is just just try to be silent about it, even though if a parent is narcissistic, do they tell the kid to not tell who they are and not tell stuff about family and stuff? Yes, they will. Yes, excellent gaslighters. Also another excellent topic. Oftentimes growing up in a toxic household, what ends up happening is that you are not allowed to tell other people what go on in the home, and they keep the children isolated to a point where you don't understand that normal families exist. And you may go to somebody's house when you're older, or 10 or 11 or 12, and you see them sitting around a table and everybody's having a great old time, and you're like, wait a second, families are like this? It's just completely different reality from what you're used to living in. So do they like to keep things silent in the family and not let people know what's going on? Absolutely. And also, if you have a toxic parent, what ends up happening is other people can think they're a saint and pious and just a wonderful parent, because they do have the ability to do good things for other people, but behind the closed doors, when the door is closed, the child is the only one that knows the monster. That's very common as well, and it leaves you very confused. And look, it's the same. Listen to what I just said and equate it to a relationship as an adult. As a child, you see your parent doing great things for other people, giving them the coat off their back, and you get treated like garbage. And what is the thought process as a child? You're going to think there is something wrong with me. What happens as an adult in a relationship with these people? You think there is something wrong with you. It just is a repeat of the same cycle over and over again. And I want to thank you guys for the questions and the commentary and the going back and forth, because it really helps me to understand where people are at and what they need. My parents were so mean to me when I told them I'm gay. First thing they thought of was, what will others think? And they were so mean to me. The wounds from childhood will repeat in adulthood until you realize what those wounds are. It's all about altering your identity and who you are. And trauma creates trauma bonding, creates maladaptive behaviors, which are bad behaviors that don't serve you. It creates catastrophic thinking. It creates anxiety. It creates depression. It creates social anxiety, where you always have to, you're afraid to go out with people. You're afraid that everything that you're saying is bad. You may have been told you're stupid over and over, so you feel like you lack the intelligence to have a basic conversation with people. You're always having to, you always second guess yourself. This is what all this creates. It's under the umbrella of complex PTSD. So it's social anxiety, catastrophic thinking, suicidal ideation, depression, major depression, not feeling as if you're good enough for anybody or anything. When something good happens to you, you feel like something bad is going to happen because you don't deserve anything good. You try to hold on to the good things, but you're self-destructive, and you have a tendency to be overbearing, and that could potentially ruin a relationship. These are all things that require rewiring the brain, which before they did not think was possible. They thought at a certain age your brain just stopped, but the brain has the ability, it is neuroplasticity. It's boundaries, and it's your identity has been altered. It is you feel with, if you've grown up in this type of an environment growing up, and now this is not about them, okay? You can't, if they're truly toxic, listen, you're not gonna be able to, as lovely as you are as a person, you want to try to fix this person. You need to fix yourself. You need to heal your boundaries. You need to heal your identity. You need to figure out who you are as a person. Sometimes it's as basic as, I will ask people, well, what's your favorite kind of egg? And it sounds so trivial and it sounds so silly, but people don't know. Well, what do you like? I don't know. Who are you? Who are you as a person? What is your identity? They have lost their identity. They don't know. And I know I keep repeating the word identity, but I have to drive it home. This is what this is about. You can reprogram, you can rewire the mind. The mind is like a highway. So you see cars driving down the street, and when you think a negative thought, it's what ends up happening is it's like a cable, like a telephone cable, like a wire, okay? So this is your brain, this is a thought process. So you go out with people and you're having a conversation, or I'll give another example. You're at the checkout line and you are standing there and you're paying for your stuff, and you take your card out and you swipe your card and you sign the thing, and you look back and you see 5 people waiting in line, and you think, oh my gosh, I'm holding all these people up. So instead of putting your credit card back into your wallet nicely and putting the receipt where you can remember it, you're walking on autopilot. So your thoughts are, I'm holding everybody up, I'm such an annoyance, everybody behind me must be so annoyed with me. That thought in your brain solidifies again that you are a burden to everybody and everything. So it's something as simple as, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to put my credit card back in my wallet, and I'm going to place my receipt in this place, staying mindful in the moment, so you remember where that thing is, and saying, I'm not a burden. Rewire it, do it little by little, day by day, and slowly by slowly it will heal itself. What should I tell the person I think to get? What should I tell the person I think is a narcissist to get a response to be sure they are narcissistic? There's not something that they are going to say that is going to show you that they're narcissistic, because some people are just opinionated. Some people just are outspoken, and that doesn't mean that they're a narcissist. What I would say is it's a pattern of behavior over a long period of time. And see, that person's behavior to you may be toxic. That's why I said this is about you. That person's behavior to you may be toxic. However, to me, I may be able to get along with them. So it's about yes, actions are louder than words. It's about what you are able to take from a person, and then therein lies your boundaries. What are you willing to take? What are you not willing to take? It's okay to walk away from people and to be straightforward and to say, you're not going to like everybody, and everybody's not going to like you. But what ends up happening is, in this, if you grow up like this, you are going to want to be a people pleaser, and you're going to think that everybody has to like you in order for you to function in this world. And when you get into a argument with somebody, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and you feel weighed down. You have to correct the situation because you feel like you offended somebody. That is a clear indicator that you have boundary issues. Yes, they also raise codependent. A narcissistic parent will enmesh themselves with their child. They don't raise independent children who are able to function in the world without other people. You need the external validation from people to tell you who you are and to tell you that you're okay. You don't need that. So there's some key things to work on. To read about boundaries, to read about codependency, to read about people pleasing, to help yourself to heal, and to then what ends up happening is they may still come, the predators may still come, but what ends up happening is you will see the red flags. You stay comprising your values. It basically you treating yourself like crap. Sad but true. I was stuck for a long time, still recovering, and that's okay. See, and then recovery from this, like I said before, this has been years and years of perpetuating this cycle. So it will take time for you to get back on the path that you were supposed to be on. Compromising. Yes, you will see them coming. They may still come, and you see like some stragglers here and there, and they'll come and they'll try, but the red flags that people talk about, it's that thing that tells you it's not right. Something's not right. Honor that. How to get away with anxiety, how to heal your anxiety. Again, that's a thought. Those are thought processes. That is the brain, especially if it comes with dread, like you just feel that all of a sudden your body just responds to something and you feel a sense of doom or a sense of dread. Those are things that's an indicator that you need to get help to rewire your brain. Some good, there's different types of therapies, and each person is different. There's EMDR, there's CBT, where they help you to thought stopping is a good one. When the thought starts, if you don't stop it right away and refocus yourself, you can go down that path. Yeah, and that's a good point. Juan said, believe. Believe you are enough. Belief. Why do they tell you that you are their soulmate and then completely flip the script like that never happened? Why? Okay, they tell you that you are their soulmate to put you up here, to get you to it releases these endorphins inside of you, and you've met your soulmate. This is what we are programmed to believe, right? About soulmates. You're gonna meet somebody and it's just gonna be like Hollywood, where the what is it? Fireworks are going off and it's hallelujah. I'll answer that in a little bit. They create this, it's dual purposed. It's to put you up here, to put you on the pedestal, to get you, they puff you up to this level where you are just elated, you are up here. And also it serves the purpose for the second stage when they devalue you, to get you to be confused, because you're really going to be confused. But I was their soulmate. Why are they knocking every single thing that I do now? Even the way I eat, even the way I drink, the way my family, the way I talk to people, every single thing that I do is wrong. So they create this illusion because they wear a mask. Remember, a narcissist wears a mask. So they create this illusion that they are your savior, that they are going to be your everything. They're going to fulfill every single need. And if you've grown up in toxicity, you have a need for other people to need you. You also, codependency is different from narcissism. They come from different places. So you're going to gravitate towards this person because this is what you've been searching for. So then they're going to knock you down, and that's going to create the thought process of, it must be me. You're going to go searching for what is wrong with you, instead of saying, this person is hurting me and is toxic for me. I don't need this person in my life anymore. I hope that answered the question. What if they promise you everything and then break up, and then you ask them if what they promised and told you was true, and they said it was? Was it the truth? It meant everything. The mask, the true self, is when the mask comes off and when they start degrading you and start cutting you down. That is the true person. That is a narcissist. Codependency is you accepting and staying with a toxic person in order to experience love. Yes. Did I miss a comment? Future faking. I got into this topic. It is something that it interested me, and I see that there's a lot of people that have been through this their whole lives, and I studied psychology, and it's always been interesting. It's been an interesting topic. Some people call me a detective, so I like to figure stuff out. So yeah, this is where we are, and I hope I like to assist people in their walk, in their recovery, because I think this is something that it's a buzzword, right? People like to call people a narcissist. They like to use that word, and it's been applied to, it gets applied just all over the place. It's a pattern of behaviors, but it's more about how it affects you. We get caught up in understanding the narcissist and wanting to fix the narcissist. You need to work on your recovery, on your healing, on your boundaries, on your codependency issues, on your people-pleasing issues. And I'll let you be okay in your skin and validate yourself internally, and understand that you are enough, because you've been told that you are not enough, but you are enough, and you always were enough. You were made to believe that you are not enough. And I think that is it. It's been 30 minutes. This has been a wonderful first live stream on here. I just want to thank you guys for being on here. And like my profile says, I will come on once a week and do these for about half an hour. And hopefully we'll go over different topics. Have you seen the movie Get Out? That Get Out movie, they want you in the funhouse with them. Yes. Good. I haven't seen that movie. They want you in the funhouse. Yeah, funhouse is a great example. Those mirrors, you're looking at yourself and you're seeing you are actually loved, beautiful, wanted, needed, have a voice in the world. You look in the funhouse mirror, and what do you see? You see something completely different. It does also create that dysmorphic disorder where you actually can physically see yourself as hideous when there is absolutely nothing wrong with your outside or your insides. You have been trained to believe that. Funhouse, excellent example. Thank you for that. And I have no idea how to shut this live stream off, so I'm going to go and shut it off. And again, thank you guys for being here. You guys are all awesome, and I'll see you guys next week. I don't know how to get out. Do I just X? X.